Hey everybody, what's up? This is Devin, LaVore, and
Michelle LaVore
coming at ya with the baby. Not the greatest lighting situation, but you can see our faces and hear our voices. Isn't that the important thing? Say amen.
Amen.
Okay. So today, guys, you know how we do. We're just going to share, and today is going to be kind of a vulnerable sharing kind of video, because vulnerable in the sense of like, okay, you'll see why.
Yeah.
But we really feel like God's been revealing some things lately that we've always wanted to know. But it's funny how God reveals things that you want to know in a time when you really don't even care about it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I don't even care about it anymore. Oh, you don't? Here, let me reveal this to you. What? Are you serious?
Yeah.
You know, you'll see. You'll have that vibe later on.
Yeah.
But I'm going to turn it over to Michelle because she's got the revelation.
Yeah, so basically, we've been really, like, God's just been showing us in the last few weeks, really, yeah, probably like a couple weeks, just kind of where we're at. And I know we shared a video, we made the 7 times 7.
The 7 cycles of 7 weeks.
Yeah, and so we made that video, and so that definitely touches on some of it. But we wanted to, and it's pertaining to our specific story of what God's doing with us. And so we just wanted to share more of what we feel like God's been showing us. And so,
which of course we hope resonates with you guys, which we believe will resonate, just, you know, to be awesome. Yeah.
So basically there's been some pictures that God has consistently just shown us over these times. One is there's the picture of the Ark, and then there's the picture of us in a cave. And there was a picture of the garden, and so back in 2017 we had the picture of the Ark, and I think we said this in a previous video, but just that back then we thought, oh, we're in the Ark, yeah, but we were honestly building the Ark. And then,
and we were in the cave.
And we were in the cave, which honestly at that time was really what God was highlighting to us at that time. He mentioned the Ark, but it was really, everything was about the cave. You know, we were a tree in the cave, and
there was this light coming down from this hole in the mountain. It was like a cave in a mountain.
Yeah.
And we were a tree just in there growing.
Yeah.
And there was a light that was just coming in just right on the tree, and it was the only light around.
Yeah.
It was the light from heaven. Obviously, that's the picture.
Yeah.
Just revelation from God's the only revelation you're going to be getting. Mm-hmm. You're not going to be getting it from books or other things.
Yeah.
You know, it's just going to be coming straight from the Word of God and relationship with God.
Which really matched up, honestly, when we first moved to Kansas City. We had been praying, and there was I saw this vision of a tender shoot coming out of the ground. And we really, it was small. And and that was really the only time that I saw it. But then later on, when God revealed to us, hey, we're this tree in this cave, I was like, oh my gosh, that was what I saw, like, basically 4 years ago. And I just felt like God's like, yeah, this whole time I've been growing you, and you've been growing.
And of course, we were hoping for things to happen then.
Yeah.
You know, but
God's like,
there's a time frame that
in a vision, but it's not there yet.
You're just a little sapling.
Yes.
Right now.
And so, you know, it was God then brought the understanding of like, okay, that season 2017 was when you were in the cave.
Yep.
But now, once you moved to Nashville, that was when I put you in the Ark. And as we thought about it, we're like, wow, the YouTube channel has really been, for us, the building of the Ark. And that actually Devin started this channel June 18th.
Bookmark that.
2016. And so he started by himself. I really feel like the Lord saying, I need to be doing these videos, and so he would do them pretty much every single day. Which was
weird because the Lord did not want me to do it like 4 years ago, 4 years before that.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to, and he was just like, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
And then he comes to me in June, and it's just like, okay, I want you to do that now, and I was just like, this is not the Lord. This is just my own personal desires. This is go through that process and you realize, okay, this is really the Lord. And so I made my first video on June 18th of 2016.
And so basically, that whole time, God was just like, you're actually building the ark, and He kept adding to it. I came on board in
August 2017. Yeah.
And it was just like, wow, okay, now that the ark is ready, you can move, and you're going to go into the ark. Mm-hmm. And so that was we arrived here December 18th.
I almost feel like the PayPal thing was like the window of the ark. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It was like, this is the window that the ravens are going to bring you food and drop food in. And literally, that's what we buy with the money.
Yeah.
Is place to stay and food.
Yeah.
The occasional Lego every now and then.
Yeah.
You know? But it's like, even in that PayPal thing, God was like, you need to do this because you're going to start eating the animals that are in the ark. I don't want those eaten. They need to repopulate the earth. Don't start eating those, you know. Just, catch the symbolism. You know what I mean?
And so as we were realizing, like, wow, you started this on June 18th, and we ended up going into the ark on December 18th of 2017. That's 18 months that we were building. And 18 signifies the release from bondage. Yeah.
Bondage or release from bondage. Yeah. One of those two.
And so we were just like, wow, that's just kind of, this crazy thing. Like, wow, what is God saying here?
And in a sense, we kind of were going into bondage, but not necessarily a bad bondage.
Yeah.
Because we were going into this containment unit of life called the ark, but we're just kind of just going to be like, we're really going into the hands of God, because also at the end of that year, God gave me a word in June saying, I'm going to scoop you up with both hands out of that cave, and I'm going to carry you, and I'm going to plant you in your land.
Yeah.
And of course, God's time frame is so different than ours, but it's like, that's kind of where we've been this whole time.
Yeah.
But it's like we've been in that ark as well. It's like God's hand closed the ark and just kept them there. It was like just kind of kept them there,
Yeah.
in a safe place, because that's what the ark represented.
Yeah.
And then the ark came to rest, and then, they went through all that process. And it's kind of like that's where we've been, because we got this prophetic picture of the ark in 2017, but we were in the cave.
Yeah.
And so it's like this whole time that we've been here, the entire time we've been here, we get this prophetic picture of being in the garden, but we're in the ark.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and in December is when we came into the ark. And so basically, did you want to tell them about the year in 10 days and how all that?
Sure. So basically, like we said in our last video, we felt like God was saying we were going to have 49 weeks of testing, and the 49
cycles of 7 weeks.
Yeah, and that's coming to an end here pretty soon. And I just felt like what we can expect personally is just that after this testing, there is that time where, Jesus, he was tested in the wilderness, and afterwards he was ministered to by angels. Job, after his testing was over, people came and brought him just a
bunch of money to get him started all over again. A bunch of
stuff just to help him out because of what he went through.
Yeah.
And so I just feel like there's this time, and honestly, back in May, the same time frame as when we got the picture of the ark, we also received pictures of angels coming.
Yeah, for 2 days of God times. It was
all about angels,
about angels.
And they were like serving. We were waiting at a table to be served, and they came out. It was like we had been waiting a really long time.
Kids were in the chairs like this in that vision. They were like, oh, God, we're so hungry. Oh, we're so hungry.
But then eventually the angels, they came out. And I really believe that's kind of what God is speaking to, is like after this testing time is the time for the ministering to by angels. I don't know what that looks like. but it's good.
But it's going to happen.
It's like it's going to happen, and you're going to see the food.
Yeah.
In addition, I really felt like God was saying, like, He wants a full completion of what we're doing. Noah and his family, they were in the ark for 1 year and 10 days. That actually came to us basically almost. We got that right when we first got here.
Yep.
That
very first week.
We were reminded of the ark and the year and 10 days. Of course, back then we were thinking totally different stuff. As far as like
we were thinking, we're at our end. We're at our end.
We're at the end.
No, you're just at the
Actually,
beginning.
You're at the beginning.
But in the end, this is what's going to happen.
But it's kind of one of those things. Yes, you are at the end. You're no longer in your cave, but now you're in your ark. So,
right.
And so now I just feel like God's saying, like, hey, there is a full completion of you guys as a family being in the ark, being in this place in your life. And for us personally, we got here December 18th. I believe December 28th would be the year and 10 days and coming out of the ark then. And so it's just like...
And there's a lot more we can say about it.
Yeah.
There's so many parallels about our real life and things that God was doing 10 years ago.
Yeah.
In reference to like how we got married and how we left to get married on the 17th, and we left Lee's Summit or Kansas City on the 17th, but arrived on the 18th, and then we got married when we left on the 17th. I guess we did arrive on the 17th, but then it's like we came back and we got the keys to our apartment on the 28th. So there was a process going on. We didn't just get the keys handed to us on the 28th and sign the paperwork on the 28th and do all this stuff all in one day on the 28th.
No.
There was a process going on there, but we got the keys and we entered into our first apartment as a married couple on the 28th.
Yeah.
And so it's like we kind of just throw it. I was like, wow, look at the parallels. Look at the similarities. And during the summer, God gave me this word about 10-year. There's going to be a 10-year thing that God's doing. And after 10 years, it's like you're going to go into a different 10-year, a different cycle. And then at that exact same time, Lana Vosser was prophesying the same thing about a 10-year thing that he was doing. And I was like, wow, babe, I just think that this is just all so interesting that God's revealing to us at the very end now, this time frame thing that he's doing. It's like we've never gotten that. Not in the cave or the ark have we ever, but now he's revealing it.
Yeah.
And I remember when he first gave me that 7 cycles of 7 weeks thing, he was like, all right, I'm going to reveal this to you. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
And it's in the sense of like, are you going to obsess on it and that's all you're going to think about is the end, or are you going to live every day?
Yeah.
And I think that's what we did, because when we first met, we knew we were going to get married. It was like, okay, that's great. You have a date. You already know what you're going to do and all that. Don't focus on that.
Yeah.
Focus on each other every day. And we did that.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Because you can get swept away by this one particular event. You can get swept away by, the promise happening.
Yeah.
Or when is this going to happen? Because my life's going to be infinitely better. No, actually, I mean, it will. It'll change. It'll be different. It is going to be better. It is going to be awesome. Getting rewards is awesome.
Yeah.
But it's like, you got to remember, a lot of times it comes with persecution. You know what I mean? So it's not like you're going to escape the battle.
Yeah.
So we just think that that's pretty cool. Like that God's just revealing time frame to us now, and it's just like, wow. And so even in the midst of this time frame stuff being revealed, there's still a battle with anxiety that you have to just say no to.
Yeah.
Oh, so then next week's going to be our last week in our 7 cycles of 7 weeks. What's that week going to be like? Oh, and then after that, what's that going to be like? What's the ministry of angels thing going to be like? Because, you don't want to assume that you know what God's going to do. And so you just, what's that going to be like? And then, is this really going to happen on the 28th like we think? I don't know. What's that going to be like? You see? And then that's a spirit of fear and anxiety, and you will go into everything, processing life through that filter. And you have to just be like, no, this is just what we're hearing from God. This is what we believe God's saying. This is what we believe God is revealing to us. And we just kind of go with it.
Yeah.
Because there's, you can get visions from the Lord, or you can get a word from the Lord, but it's really basically communication from the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, Ezekiel, and then the word of the Lord came to Ezekiel, and it was a vision of read Ezekiel chapter 1 and see what he saw.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But it was like, there was a message in it. There was something God's always communicating.
And so, basically, we've been in the Ark, and another thing, too, is that just struck me yesterday, I didn't even think about it, was the fact that this is 2018. So again, there's another 18.
Oh, yeah.
And God speaking, just like the release of bondage.
Started my YouTube channel on the 18th. We got to Nashville on the
December
18th.
And then this is 2018.
Yeah, so a year and 10 days will be, it's cool.
Yeah, so just kind of all about like the release. But also is that, like we said before, when we first got here, God started talking about the garden, and He has really brought that up periodically again. Even back in October, fairly recently, we had a whole week where that was just the whole focus. It's like being in the garden with God and all of that. And I really feel like now it's like when God opens the doors to the Ark, we're going to be walking into the garden. We're going to be planted into the garden that God has for us, and that's really the next year.
That's 2019.
And that was
year
the
of the
other
garden.
thing.
Is that a prophetic word I just released? 2019, the year of the garden.
And that was the other thing too. When we got married, we really felt like in the spirit. Because we were discussing, when do we want to get married? Like, we could wait until the next year, or we can. Just get married. But we really felt in the spirit, like, no, it has to be this year.
Yeah. Like,
we have to get married. And
we felt in the spirit. It wasn't just, this is what we want.
It was just like, no, I feel in the spirit like it needs to happen this year. And again, there's just that sense from the Spirit of God, like, no, this is coming to an end. You are going to be released from the Ark this year. And
no more hotel, praise the Lord.
The
Lord does like to wait till the last minute, doesn't he?
He does.
You know why? Because He wants to squeeze as much character out of you and get as much character into you as possible.
Yeah.
So I just want to wait till the bitter end, not the bitter, but you know what I mean, the sweet end.
Yes.
Just as much as I can get. Oh, wait a minute, we can spread this dough out a little more. Oh, let's do it. Let's spread it. Let's spread it. Can I read the Bible through that paper thin dough? Yes, you can. All right, it's ready.
Yeah. And so it's just, we really feel like, okay, now.
Too much British baking show.
Yeah, we've been watching that a lot. But when the doors open, that it's going to be going into the garden.
Yes.
And it's going to be in a different, that will be the new place that God has for our family. But again, even in that, like, God's been really showing us that it's a time of intimacy with Him.
Yes.
And that He's still like, I am still very much about what I'm doing in your family right now.
Mm-hmm.
And
so I'm like, wow, that's like 3 years of pictures. And each year was like a different picture that He was doing. And it's like, whoa, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's just been really neat to just see this. And I think that's why, at the beginning of this we were saying it's kind of, you feel vulnerable, because it's saying...
It's a time frame.
It's a time frame. And that is something that...
we never advise you to do. Don't do it.
Man, the time frame's like, you want a time frame, but... Like you said, I just feel like God's tenderness, and when He revealed it, was at a time when we really could handle the time frame, because it wasn't what we were driven towards. We really let go of it. It was just like
a while ago.
Whenever, Lord, you want to do this, and then it's like, oh, here you go. Here's the time frame, and I just feel so at peace with what God's doing. And it's like, okay, we're still in this time of testing, and God has just been showing us so much through that, like this whole week.
We're going to just live every day.
And it is. It's about living every day and just enjoying and being with the Lord. And it's like, all right, Lord, I don't know. We don't know what things are going to look like. You don't know. You don't see the full picture, because God hasn't revealed the full picture to us. But He gives us, He gives us in the Spirit things that we can start declaring and start believing for and start hoping for and pursuing those things.
Just things from His heart.
Yes. That
are saying, like, you're not going to be in this situation come January 1st, 2019. It's just not going to happen. And I'm just like, awesome. But He won't tell you how. He won't, even if He tells you when.
Yeah.
It's like He still's not telling you how, so you can turn that into an anxious, come on, Dad, you're pulling his pants. Come on, man, just tell me how. Tell me how. You can turn everything into an anxiousness and a I want to know type of thing. And it's just like, no, just trust.
Yeah.
Just trust Him. And so I just think it's cool. It's like we've gone from the cave to the ark, and now we're going from the ark to the garden. And the thing of it is, I believe, like, the reward that God has talked to us about, the house and the financial miracle that's going to be, and the life that's going to produce, and all that, He's given us that as the hope or the joy that's set before us. He's like, that's what's going to happen. And then when it happens, it's going to be a sign as the level of intimacy and rich revelation and the kingdom glory of God that I want you to walk in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I mean, God just gave our 5-year-old, our 5.5-year-old a vision that was like, wow, that was from the Lord. It's the kind of vision you wish you could receive.
Yeah.
And He gave it to the 5-year-old. And it's like, that was from the Lord. And I think He did. He gave it to the 5-year-old to encourage the 5-year-old that he hears from God, but also to just, it put us in a position where, like, that is the Lord.
Yeah.
Like, wow. And it just kind of confirms a lot of the things that we're saying right now and some things we haven't said.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's what God's doing.
So I think that's really what we're able to really share right now. And just that, I don't know, it's just been really awesome for God to just kind of show and give, like, this picture. And I think we've learned so much, even from how God is working and how He can show you something that's really for a much later time.
Right.
And how early He does it.
And just because He's showing you now doesn't mean He's working it now. It just, like that Ark door opening thing we realized last night. I was like, babe, I think that was just another prophetic thing, wasn't it? Because I saw the Ark door opening and just the glory of God. And I'm just like, yay, that's getting ready to happen. Yay, the Ark door is going to open. And it's like, yeah, later.
So with prophetic things, it's like, it can be like a sneak peek.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to see it as it's like, oh, that movie's coming. But here's just a small, it's not even the trailer. It's like, this is the sneak peek of the trailer,
Yeah.
Yeah. And so a lot of times, like, we've just realized, like, wow, that's just kind of how God works. And because He wants to start sowing things in, getting you ready for what's coming.
It's not that you haven't heard from the Lord.
Yeah.
It's just, it's not for now. Like Mark Taylor, for example. We were talking to someone recently about Mark Taylor. And he heard from the Lord that Donald Trump was going to be president. But he heard that in 2012. So back in, like, the early days of 2012. So he thought, okay. And then Donald Trump started running.
Yeah.
But then he bailed out. And it was just like, he thought, oh my gosh, I totally missed that. I can't believe, like, what happened there? Well, he was hearing something prophetically, and God didn't correct him right then in that moment and say, oh no, you heard wrong. Oh no, you didn't. This is not the right time. He doesn't do that. Why does God do that? I don't know. I think, honestly, it's to produce trust.
Yeah.
Are you just going to trust me? And it's like, well, you led me to believe that Donald Trump was going to be president, and he didn't. And it's just like, okay.
Yeah,
it's like, are you going to trust me? And then 4 years later, in the next term, that actually happened.
Yeah.
And it really encouraged him, but it gave God an opportunity through God's silence to create a trust.
Yeah.
That you don't think, it's like, well, no, that actually produces not trust. It's like, I don't trust myself. I don't trust what I hear. It's like, that's great. I'm glad you don't, because that gives me the opportunity to prove I am God.
Yeah.
It's not always about you and your ability to hear from God. Or do you just trust me? Yes, I do. Well, there we go.
Yeah.
That's what God's like. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I don't want you to know everything. I want you to know me, who knows everything.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So there you go.
I think that's all we really have for you guys today. I hope that this does encourage you and just even your walk with the Lord of just trusting that He knows what He's doing in your life and He has all of your steps planned, and just keep following after Him. And again, we just want to remind people that we are support-based. So if you want to support us, we have the PayPal link below, and you can just click on that.
Because the weekend is upon us.
Yes.
And we just, I don't know, we get to the weekend and we pretty much always need help for the next coming week.
Yeah.
You know, which is going to be our last week in our 7 cycles of 7 weeks.
Ish. You got 10 days.
Ish. Yeah, until next Sunday, you know.
But
well, there's the weekend, and then there's next week, and then there's next weekend. But
yeah.
So
anyway, but
help us have a great Thanksgiving week, guys.
Yeah. But yeah, so we so appreciate everybody who continues to give and support us. We just so appreciate all of you.
Here, these are our subscribers who give to us.
And
love you so much.
So we just pray that you guys are blessed, and until next time, we will see you later.
Yep. Bye, guys.
Bye.